Hi, I'm Sarah from You Floral, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a bridal bouquet just like this one using the spiral technique. So before I start arranging, I want to make sure all my flowers are prepped. So this one here, I'm going to show you an example of the syringium. So this is a lot of blooms on a single stem, and I probably don't actually want to have this bulky of an syringium within my bouquet. So I'm going to take my snips right here, and I'm going to take off some of the side shoots. And then I'm going to keep them because I'll use these in some little mason jar bouquets, or these are also perfect for boutonnieres. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I'm removing the leaves. So this cosmos here has a lot of these fringy leaves on them. So I'm just going to remove these as well. It makes it a lot easier when you're arranging if you have everything ready to go. You'll also notice I have everything separated into its variety type, so that also makes it a lot easier, so you can just grab and go when you're ready to arrange. So when I start my arranger, I'm going to start first with my big flower. So I have a Disbud Mum here, and then I also have some carnations that I'm using as my large size flower. Sometimes carnations aren't fully open, so I'm just going to force the carnations open, and I have a video showing you guys how to do that if you want to take a look. And so I'm making the spiral bouquet. I'm going to hold my first flower in my left hand because I'm left-handed, and this is going to essentially be the vase. I'm going to use my hand as the vase. So I'm going to hold this flower in my left hand, and I'm going to take my second large flower. So I'm putting it here and then using my thumb as a pinch point to hold it. So you can see here I've got it this 45-degree angle here. Then I'm going to take my next flower. So maybe I'll grab a dahlia. And so this one, I should have prepped this one a little bit better. First of all, I don't need these little side shoots here, so I'm going to cut those off. I've got the 45-degree angle, and then this one I'm going to put in a 45-degree angle as well. So now I've got these three here. So I need to rotate the bouquet now. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my right hand and just hold them in place so I can kind of scooch my hand around and give it a little bit of a turn. And then add in my next flower, 45-degree angle as well. And then holding it a little bit and turning my vase hand. So I'm just gonna keep doing that, adding at a 45-degree angle, and then making sure that I always am rotating the bouquet. It's tricky to start with when you've got so many in your hand, but once you've got the spiral shape more down pat, they start to hold each other together. And so the reason why I'm using a spiral is because a spiral makes sure that less flowers are broken during the process because they're all pointing in the same direction. And it also makes the actual flower bouquet much less bulky because all our flowers are facing the same direction, so we don't have those stems conflicting with each other. You can add in greenery if greenery is part of your vibe. I'm just adding a little Israeli ruscus here, but you can add much more greenery if that's your vibe. So you can see when I'm using my right hand, I just kind of hold it in place, and then I take my left hand, kind of the vase, and then I'm able to just take my bouquet and give it a little spin. So I'm spinning it just a tiny bit, like a quarter turn each time. And each time I'm changing up what flower I add in. So I'm trying to also vary the height of these. So some I'm placing higher, some I'm placing lower, but I can also do a lot of sort of adjusting once I'm done to really get the height that I'm looking for. But it's super important that you do the rotation. You put your flowers at the same 45-degree angle every time. So I'm just gonna keep adding in here. As I'm getting further along, it's getting much easier to do this rotation, as you can tell. And I'm making sure that I don't have any leaves that are going to be below the water line in my vase. So now I can really take my right hand and just hold it and take my left hand and spin it around. I want to make sure I have flowers that are at the bottom of the bouquet as well, because I don't want to have a big mound here and then nothing at the bottom. So I'm making sure I'm putting some flowers a little bit lower as well. So now I'm starting to finish it off. I'm getting happy with how it's looking. So now I'm just gonna stand back a bit and look at any flowers that sort of got hidden in here. So like this little zinnia is getting a little bit hidden. So I'm just gonna pull it up just a bit so that way you can see it. If you have a flower you really don't like, you can pull it out and you just kind of have to wiggle it out because now it's kind of embedded in the spiral. Or if you find some, like this eryngium is a lot of eryngium now, and I'm feeling like it's too much, I can just take some of the side shoots and give them a little trim. I also see that I don't have enough flowers here, so I can add a couple more there to sort of fill it out, just making sure, of course, that I'm going in that same direction of that spiral, so I keep that pattern going in place. And I'm just gonna kind of play with it to get the final look that I'm going for. And sometimes it helps if you're doing this as a bridal bouquet to actually place it like how you would hold it, and then go to a mirror and take a look to see if it looks like how you're wanting it to. And if you're doing a bridal bouquet, often it has a flatter back, but if it's going in a vase at home, you'll want to make sure that it has flowers the whole way around. You can see right here, if I was having it in a vase, there's not a flower right here, really, that's holding that side. So I'll just add another one right here, just to make sure that my bouquet looks complete if I'm putting it in a vase. But of course, if this was a bridal bouquet, it wouldn't matter so much because that's gonna be at the back where my dress is. So just doing a little bit of playing around, lifting them up, taking a look at what it looks like. So I am happy with how that looks now. So now it's time to tie it off. So there's a couple ways you can tie it off. I've got Oasis bind wire. I've got floral tape here in white and green. I've got a zap strap as well, and I've also got an elastic. So I'll show you how to use an elastic here. So I take the elastic and find one sort of stem here, and then I go wrap it around a couple times, and then I find another side of the stem and just suck it up like this. So now this elastic will hold it in place. Elastic isn't super firm though, so you can see when I let it go, it kind of starts to flop, but that's fine because in a bridal bouquet, you'd have a ribbon around it as well. But what I find does a really great job is actually using a zap strap. So a zap strap, it's also known as a cable tie. You just feed one end through the other and just give it a nice little tug, and then cut off the ends using your pruners. And of course, this is also not very pretty, but then you would use your ribbon to cover the zap strap. So there you go. That is how to make a bouquet using the spiral technique. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and let me know if you have questions.